Ava Carter never imagined that a single night could change everything. Exhausted from her shift at the clinic, she trudged through the forest path behind her small home, clutching her son's lunchbox and praying the shadows wouldn't follow. That's when she heard it, a guttural groan, not human, not animal, yet undeniably alive. Her heart slammed against her ribs as she followed the sound, boots crunching over frost-covered leaves. There, beneath a broken oak, he lay, a man massive as a bear, his chest ripped open with claw marks that burned silver even in the dim moonlight. Golden eyes snapped open, and Ava froze. Fear and instinct warred within her, screaming at her to run. But the man was dying, and she couldn't leave him. Tears blurred her vision as she tore her scarf, pressing it to his wounds. Every heartbeat, every breath she gave him tied her closer to something she didn't understand. By dawn, he vanished, leaving only a whisper of gratitude in the wind, and a warning she couldn't yet hear. By the next morning, 100 wolves circled her house, their golden eyes fixed, and she realized saving him had been a choice she didn't get to make alone. The night the Alpha bled, the forest was never truly silent, but tonight it held its breath. Ava Carter tightened her coat around herself as she stepped off the narrow dirt road, the beam of her flashlight slicing through twisted trees and creeping fog. Her shift at the late-night clinic had ended an hour ago, yet sleep felt impossible. Not when the same nightmare kept replaying in her mind, running paws, burning eyes, and a roar that shook the earth. She shook it off, just exhaustion, she told herself. Single moms didn't get the luxury of fear. They survived. A low groan cut through the air. Ava froze. It wasn't human. It wasn't animal either. It was something in between, raw pain threaded with rage. Her heart slammed against her ribs as she followed the sound, boots crunching over dead leaves. The beam of light trembled when it landed on him. A man lay against a fallen oak, his shirt torn, his body massive, blood soaking into the forest floor. Claw marks raked across his chest, deep, savage wounds that should have killed him. His eyes snapped open, gold luminous, inhuman. Ava stumbled back, breath hitching. Every instinct screamed run. But then she saw the way his fingers dug into the dirt, the way his jaw clenched to hold back a scream. He was dying, and Ava Carter healed the dying. That was who she was, even when the world was cruel, even when fear begged her to turn away. "I won't hurt you," she whispered, unsure whether she was convincing him or herself. The man growled low in his throat, teeth flashing unnaturally sharp. For a heartbeat, Ava was certain this was how she would die, alone in the woods, torn apart by a monster. Then his body shuddered, and the glow in his eyes dimmed. He collapsed. Ava rushed forward on instinct, dropping to her knees. The wounds were unlike anything she'd seen, edges burned, flesh poisoned with something dark. Silver, her mind whispered, though she had no idea why. She worked fast, tearing strips from her scarf, pressing, cleaning, doing everything she could. Her hands moved with the calm precision of years in emergency rooms. "Stay with me," she murmured, brushing damp hair from his forehead. The man stirred, his hand suddenly clamping around her wrist with terrifying strength. "Human," he rasped. "You should not be here." Ava met his gaze, fear battling resolve. "And you shouldn't be bleeding out in the forest. So I guess we're both in the wrong place." For the first time, something flickered in his eyes, surprise. She stayed with him until dawn painted the sky pale gray. When his breathing finally evened out, Ava exhaled shakily, exhaustion crashing over her. She never noticed the way shadows shifted among the trees. Never saw the wolves watching. By the time the sun rose, the Alpha King of the Northern Pack had vanished from the forest, alive because of a human woman who had no idea what she'd just done. The next morning, Ava was making breakfast when the sound of howls shattered the quiet. Her 5-year-old son Leo ran to the window. "Mommy, why are there dogs outside?" Ava followed him and felt the blood drain from her face. Her small house was surrounded, not by dogs, by wolves. Dozens of them, massive, still, waiting, and at the center of them stood the man from the forest, whole and uninjured, golden eyes locked on her door. The Alpha King had come to repay his debt, and Ava Carter's life was about to change forever. Quavervest Part 2, The Wolves at Her Door. Ava's hands trembled as she slowly pulled Leo back from the window. "Sweetheart," she said softly, forcing calm into her voice. "Go to your room and stay there no matter what happens, okay?" But Mommy, please, she whispered, kneeling to his level. Trust me. Leo nodded, fear wide in his eyes, and ran down the hall. Ava waited until his door clicked shut before turning back to the window. The man outside raised his hand. Instantly, the wolves sat. The sheer control in that single gesture sent a chill through Ava's spine. A knock echoed through the house. Firm, controlled, powerful. Ava swallowed and opened the door just a crack. Up close, he was even more overwhelming. Tall enough to block out the morning light. Broad shoulders beneath a dark coat. His presence filled the air, heavy and commanding, like the forest itself had learned to walk. You healed me, he said. His voice was deep, carrying authority that made her pulse race despite herself. You were dying, Ava replied. I couldn't just leave you. Golden eyes searched her face, not with hunger, not with threat, but with something far more unsettling. Recognition. My name is Cale Blackthorn, he said, Alpha King of the Northern Pack. Ava let out a short, humorless laugh. Right, and I'm guessing this is the part where I faint. The corner of his mouth twitched. A smile, brief but real. You have courage, Cale said, more than most humans. That doesn't explain why your friends are using my lawn as a meeting place. Cale glanced back at the wolves. They came because I was wounded. They came because you touched what belongs to the pack. Ava stiffened. I didn't take anything. No, he said quietly. You gave. He stepped back, lowering his head slightly. The gesture shocked her more than the wolves ever could. I owe you a life debt. The words settled heavily between them. Before Ava could respond, a growl erupted from behind Cale. One wolf stepped forward, its eyes burning with hostility. She is human, the wolf snarled, and to Ava's horror, she understood the words. She cannot be trusted with the Alpha's life. Kyle's gaze hardened instantly. Enough, he commanded. The wolf dropped its head, retreating. Ava's breath came fast. I'm hearing them. Cal turned back to her sharply. You understand wolf speech? I think so, she stammered. That's not normal, is it? No, Cale said slowly. It is not. His eyes flicked toward the house. There is a child here. Ava's body went rigid. Don't involve him. I would never, Cale said firmly. No harm will come to you or your son. You have my word. She studied him, this impossible man who inspired fear and obedience with a single look. Against all logic, she believed him. Why me? She asked. Why can I hear them? Cale hesitated. When you healed me, he said, your blood mixed with mine. My wounds were poisoned with silver. Any ordinary human would have been burned by it. But you weren't. Ava stared at her hands as if seeing them for the first time. What does that mean? It means, Cale said, voice dropping, that you are not ordinary. A howl rose from deeper in the forest, sharp, urgent. Kyle's jaw tightened. My enemies know I survived. They will come for you. Ava's heart pounded. I didn't ask for this. I know, Cale replied. But the moment you saved me, your fate tied itself to mine. He extended his hand. Come with us. I will protect you. Ava looked past him at the wolves, at the forest, at the life she'd barely been holding together. Then she heard Leo's small voice behind her. Mommy, are the dogs mad? Her heart cracked. Ava met Cale's eyes. If I go with you, my son comes first. Always. Cale dropped to one knee so he was eye level with Leo. You are under my protection. Little one, he said solemnly. No wolf will ever harm you. Leo blinked. Leo a king. Cale smiled faintly. Something like that? Ava exhaled, decision settling like fate itself. All right, she said. But if this is a mistake, Cale stood, power radiating from him. Then it will be my mistake to pay for. The wolves parted as if the forest itself bowed, and Ava Carter stepped into a world of alphas, secrets, and ancient bonds, unaware that the greatest danger wasn't the enemies hunting Kyle. It was the way his gaze lingered on her. The alpha's domain. The forest swallowed Ava's house behind them as the wolves moved in silent formation. Leo sat on Cale's horse, small hands gripping the mane while Kyle walked beside him, one steady hand ensuring the child never swayed. Ava followed, her heart caught somewhere between fear and awe. No one spoke. The wolves didn't need to. When they reached the pack lands, Ava felt it, a pressure in the air, ancient and alive. Massive stone gates rose from the earth, wrapped in ivy and carved with symbols that seemed to move when she wasn't looking. This is real, she whispered. Kyle nodded. Welcome to Blackthorn territory. The gates opened without a sound. Inside lay a hidden world. Fires burned in iron bowls. Wolves shifted into men and women as they passed, strong, sharp-eyed, watching her with curiosity and suspicion. Whispers followed her steps. Human, the healer, the Alpha's debt. Kale led them to the great hall, a towering structure of stone and timber. The moment Ava crossed the threshold, a sharp ache flared in her chest, like something unseen had recognized her. She staggered. Kyle caught her instantly. What did you feel? I don't know, she gasped. It's like this place knows me. His eyes darkened. That should be impossible. An older woman approached, her silver hair braided down her back, eyes as sharp as winter. You brought a human into the heart of the pack, she said coldly. Have you lost your mind, Kale Blackthorn? This is Mara, Kale said, the pack's seer. Mara circled Ava slowly, fingers hovering inches from her skin. Her aura as she murmured, Not human, not wolf. Ava clenched her fists. I didn't ask for this? Mara stopped. No. Fate asked for you? That night, Ava was given a room overlooking the forest. Leo slept quickly, exhaustion winning. Ava, however, stood at the window watching moonlight spill over the trees. A knock sounded. Cal entered quietly. I should never have involved you, he said. If the council learns what you are becoming. Becoming? Ava turned sharply. You keep saying that like I'm changing into something. Kale stepped closer. When you healed me, a bond formed. Ancient, forbidden, her pulse quickened. What kind of bond? The kind only spoken of in legends, he said. A soul tether? The air between them thickened. Ava could feel his presence now, not just physically, but inside her chest, like an echo of his heartbeat. That's impossible, she whispered. Kyle lifted his hand, hesitating before brushing his fingers against hers. The contact sent a shock through both of them. Ava gasped. Kyle growled low, eyes flaring gold. This should not be happening. And yet it is, she said, breathless. Before either could step back, a horn blasted through the night. An alarm. Mara's voice echoed through the halls. Enemies at the eastern border. Cal's expression hardened instantly. The Alpha replaced the man. Stay here, he commanded. I'm not helpless, Ava said. His gaze softened for half a heartbeat. You are everything they will try to use against me. Cal turned and vanished into the night. From the balcony, Ava watched wolves surge toward the forest. The ground trembled with their power. Then she felt it again, pain. Not hers, Kyle's. She clutched her chest, a cry tearing from her throat as blood soaked through her shirt where no wound existed. Mara appeared beside her, eyes blazing with understanding. The bond has awakened, the seer said. When the Alpha bleeds, so do you. Ava's legs gave out. Then if he dies, you will follow, Mara finished. In the distance, a roar shook the mountains, and Ava knew this war was no longer Kale's alone. It was hers, blood and bond. The pain came in waves. Ava collapsed to her knees as another surge ripped through her chest, her vision blurring. It wasn't just physical, it was his fear. His fury, his unbreakable will slamming into her like a storm. Kale was fighting, and he was losing. Mara knelt beside her, pressing a hand over Ava's heart. Breathe. If you let the bond overwhelm you, it will consume you both. I can feel him, Ava gasped. He's surrounded. Mara's eyes sharpened. Then the bond is stronger than I feared. Ava pushed herself up. Take me to him. The seer stiffened. You would walk into a battlefield. I already am, Ava said hoarsely. Just not with my body. Mara studied her for a long moment, then nodded once. Very well. But know this, what you are about to do will change you forever. They reached the eastern ridge just as chaos exploded beneath the moon. Wolves clashed, teeth and claws flashing, silvered blades glinting among the trees. At the center stood Kale, bloodied yet unbroken, fighting like a god of war. An opposing Alpha lunged, silver dagger raised. No, Ava screamed, the bond snapped tight. Power surged through her veins, hot, wild, ancient. The world tilted, and suddenly Ava understood the forest. The wind obeyed her. The earth answered. She lifted her hand. The ground split. The enemy Alpha was thrown back, crashing into stone with a howl of pain. Silence fell. Every wolf turned toward her. Kale froze, golden eyes locking onto hers in shock and awe. Ava, what are you? Ava stared at her glowing hands, heart hammering. I think I'm connected to more than just you. Mara stepped forward, voice trembling with reverence. She is a bonded healer. a rare being born once in an age, one who can share an alpha's power without being consumed. The enemy wolves fled, fear overtaking rage. Kale approached Ava slowly as if she might vanish. He cupped her face, forehead resting against hers. "You saved my life," he whispered. Again. Ava leaned into him, exhausted. Then stopped, almost dying. A rough laugh escaped him. But beyond the trees, unseen eyes watched, and a voice whispered into the night, "Take the child. The war had only begun."